Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the final episode for 2025 of the HOLOCRON Chronicles here on the Secret Friends Unite podcasting network. I am your humble servant, not a Trek Lord this time, but some kind of Jedi whatever guy. But I'm not the number one pilot in the Grand Rapids area of X-Wing, because that would be Peter Stein, who is my partner. Peter, hello.
Hello.
And joining us for the first time on HOLOCRON is my lovely wife, April, who is an anointed expert in all things Ewok, which is why she's with us today. Hello, dear.
Hello.
Great to see you here.
I don't know how I became an expert just because I liked that movie, but okay.
You didn't like this movie that we're going to talk about today. That's for damn sure.
Not this one.
But what we do anytime we have anybody on a particular program, particularly one of the focus ones, either this or over on Code talking about Star Trek, is we say, what is your Star Wars origin story? Like, how did you find it? How did you become a fan?
I watched the movies in the theater with my brother, who was obsessed with Star Wars. And played with all the toys because he had all of them. So it started there, just because I wanted to, just same way I got into Star Trek, because I wanted to be friends with my brother.
Oh,
which is funny because I don't talk to him anymore.
It's deeply ironic. Yes, yeah. It is. And one tradition that has been held over from the previous regime that ran this podcast when Mark worked with us is, in all of the bewilderment of belts, boots, and jackets that make up, and funny hats, weird aliens that make up the Star Wars universe. If you were to die in some fashion being a character in the Star Wars universe, how would you want to go?
I would probably fall off the side of one of those hallways that just go into space because, I'm klutzy.
In the Death Star, like the thing with the no railing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just fall into the beam.
Or like the good old Venator engine room. Like, why?
Yeah.
Why do we have pits next to very important control panels?
Because back then they were all clones. You'd be like, oh, well, number 3326 died. Bring up 3327. We're all good. Replaceable. They didn't even really have to pay him. Oh, my goodness. Well, we are wrapping up our TV movies of the 80s for Star Wars now. It's 70s and 80s, really, because we've talked about the holiday special. We've talked about the Ewok Caravan of Garbage / of Courage. Did I miss one? Was there another TV special we talked about? I feel like those were the two.
Those are it.
I was going to say, isn't this the only?
As far as I know, there's only the three, unless there's something that flew under the radar.
Right. And this is the third and final. We should dig up and watch and talk about it in a short, is the 1978's Hardware Wars. Have you ever heard of that one?
I think I've heard of it, yeah.
Oh, my God. Anyway, well, that's a topic for another time. But at any rate, I'll get some housekeeping out of the way, as I always do. We want to give some love and respect, particularly as the year comes to an end. Old Lang Syne, for the wonderful folks on our Secret Friends Unite Patreon over at patreon.com/Secret Friends Unite, where all of our shows do come out early. This show drops on a Wednesday, every other Wednesday, but over on the Patreon, you get it on a Sunday prior. So a little bit of extra oomph to start your week, which is not a bad thing. But we also have great exclusive programs. Peter and I are getting into the end of talking about Ron Moore's Battlestar Galactica. That is exclusive to our Patreon. You want to tune into that. It's pretty awesome. And benefits over on our Discord channel and much, much more. Over at patreon.com/Secret Friends Unite, your first week is free, first month half off, and you stick around for as little as $2 a month. You are losing money and precious entertainment by not being a member of our Patreon. So we'd absolutely love to have you on board. So again, patreon.com/Secret Friends Unite. And finally, we are wrapping up our sponsorship of Argos Used Books and Comics right here in Grand Rapids in the East Town part of Southeast GR. They've been around for 50 years, opened in 1975, and are one of the oldest comic shops and independent bookstores in the state of Michigan. Roger and Crystal took the shop over in 2022 and have done an incredible job turning things around and changing the shop up and modernizing it. It's something to see. If you've not been in the last few years and you're local, you should definitely swing by and check it out. You can join their Argonauts Comic Book Poll Club. If you're doing 5 or more monthly titles, you're saving 10% on those purchases. And they're also always buying. You've got used books. You've got a collection of comics. Check them out. They're easy to find on Facebook, Instagram, or of course, Google, where anybody finds anything. Let them know that you heard about them from us, the Secret Friends Unite podcast network. All right. Let's see. I did not see any. Peter, I looked a couple of days ago. I didn't see any news per se. Do you know of anything going on news related in Star Warsy?
Starfighter wrapped production, like filming.
I mean,
that's kind of it.
Yeah, right. And we're looking forward to getting that in summer of 2027. So that's pretty exciting stuff. But yeah, with that, let's get into the meat. So again, television movies, there were two that were in the 80s trying to keep Star Wars, trying to keep the candle burning. And around a time when the comic book was starting to wind down over at Marvel Comics, the action figure line was ending. It ended in 1985. And ironically, that's when this piece of entertainment came out. It's called the Ewoks, the Battle for Endor.
Wait another 6 years until the expanded universe starts with Heir to the Empire.
Yeah, that's right. Which, ironically enough, that's kind of be our next journey. We're going to talk a little bit about that as we get into 2026 in comic book form. Breaking that up, a 6-issue comic book series that we're going to break up into 2 episodes. So good segue. Anyway, the Ewoks Battle for Endor is a 1989 American television film set in the Star Wars universe, co-written and directed by Jim and Ken Wheat. Honey, what do I always say about wheat?
Touch the wheat.
That's my Peter inside joke. If you remember from Gladiator, when he's walking through and doing that, so that the Weekly Planet, which is a podcast, an Australian podcast I adore, they made that "I just want to go home and touch wheat" joke, and I just can't stop laughing when I think about it. So the wheat in a story unbelievably by George Lucas, a sequel to Caravan of Courage, an Ewok adventure, which came out the prior year, focuses on Sindel Tawani, the human girl from the first film, whom, after being orphaned, joins the Ewoks in protecting their... What's that?
Brutally.
And quickly. Yeah. In protecting their village, well, she does a great job of that, and defeating the marauders who have taken control of the Endor moon. This premiered on ABC on November 24th, 1985, just in time for Thanksgiving, or roundabouts. And right around the same...
did too.
Yeah.
It was like a Thanksgiving film.
You're right,
and the holiday special. So
and the holiday special.
Apparently, it was a thing.
Yeah, it's a Thanksgiving. Apparently, you're supposed to thanks them for giving us crap. Look at that! Oh, look at that! Oh, that could be the name of the episode. Let me.
So long and thanks for all the crap.
So long and thanks. Don't let me forget about that. Yeah. As we get into things, I'll type that in. Yeah. It had a somewhat action-packed cast, believe it or not. Wilford Brimley, Warwick Davis was reprising his role as Wicket. You had Carol Strachan, Mr. Hom from Star Trek: The Next Generation. I couldn't believe it myself, because the first bulk of his appearance, he was sitting, and then when he was standing up, he was a tall guy. But Mr. Hom, who was the valet for Mrs. Troy, Counselor Troy's mother, and recurring role. Paul Gleason, who was the jerk boss cop in Die Hard, and he was also the principal in The Breakfast Club. Was he recast, or was he in the first film? I kept thinking he was somebody else in the first film. I don't recall.
He looked slightly different, but I didn't go back and look because it didn't matter that much to me.
I understand. And the last one and again, it was somebody in a cast, because I'm sure he was one of the Ewoks, is Tony Cox, who is a diminutive black actor who was also the diminutive black elf in Bad Santa, of which the main character's name, played by Billy Bob Thornton, was Willie. That is, Peter, if you've not seen that movie, it's on our Christmas list every year. It's so raunchy.
You know what would be really hilarious is if they named that character Willie just to josh with him.
Oh my God.
In this movie back in 85 was named that. Surprise.
Oh my God.
Or even if they didn't tell him, if it's the writer sitting there snickering behind the scenes, perfect.
I love it. Well, with that, I'm going to turn the reins over. Who's going to go first in starting to talk about this film? I'm thinking of an number between 1 and 10. April?
5.
7.
And 7 was the number. Peter goes first, and I'm going to change the title. All right, go for it. Take us away, Peter.
So the interesting thing about this film is that it shows continuity in a way that I never thought you would have in a television film. Like it follows directly after the first film, the ship is still crashed in the same spot. Dad is still fixing the ship. Everyone's wearing the same outfits. Like, it's very continuous. They bring back the actor who played the brother,
right,
for about 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Right.
Same costume, same gun. He does a good job. Gets blown up.
Off screen.
On screen. Well, the explosion's on screen.
Behind some trees. She assumed if there's no body, I mean, that's always the rule.
That's what I was sitting there wondering the whole time. Are we going to get a happy family reunion at the end?
Yeah.
No, we do not. They are.
Well, Mom was definitely dead unless she was napping, because you didn't see Finola Flanagan, who was Data's.
No, it was arm across face.
And it was like her legs and her butt. I'm like, well, okay, she's.
Well, that's when he was dragging her, but when she was laying there was arm across face.
Oh well.
Yeah. So they did she wasn't dead when you first saw her. But Mace drags her into the building to get away from the marauders who are blowing up the village. They use a mortar or some crap and blow up the building. So they're dead.
Yep.
Sindel goes to find Dad. Dad is fixing the ship. The marauders show up and they pull the power core. They escape briefly. He gets shot and dies with a hand going down a tree,
Right.
So that's
remember me. I'll be in your heart.
Yeah.
Does that ship get blown up? Because it's like it doesn't
torn apart. You don't see it again.
Yeah. Like Luke's speeder bike.
Interestingly, the Ewoks now speak English, or at least Wicket does.
Only Wicket does.
Yeah,
the other ones do bits and pieces here and there.
And April pointed out, there might have been a guidebook or something, or maybe like book on tape of like Rosetta Stone from E.T., because it sounded right. It sounded just.
He definitely sounded like E.T.
Yeah,
most of the time.
Yeah,
yes, he did. Yeah, which was just wild. But yeah, so they're wandering around. They bump into this other critter called Teak.
Yeah.
Who's like a speedster.
Yeah.
With fur.
Hyperactive hedgehog or some such.
Yeah. And so then they find a little house, which is a mess. Apparently lived in by this other marooned dude named Noah. Who's your classic grumpy old man.
It is. I don't know if you're at all familiar, Peter, with Wilford Brimley, who is the actor. And
I've seen him around, but I'm not pulling a reference.
I can't even say it. The way he does.
Diabetes.
Oh man,
he's the diabetes guy.
That's why he was familiar.
Yeah,
I'm trying to remember what his real claim was. He on the Waltons? Was that his big claim to fame?
I know he did a movie. Wasn't there a movie Cocoon or something? Wasn't he in that?
He was in but I mean before that. I mean, was he like something in the 60s or 70s?
Probably.
Definitely he was in Cocoon. And he also played like a skeevy lawyer in The Firm. No, or like a skeevy like handler. He was like Ray Donovan, where he was shaking down Tom Cruise's character. Yeah, exactly. But I'm trying to remember what he would have been known for, like when he was younger, and I can't think. All people think about is the diabetes, because it's it's the meme that will never die.
I think he was in westerns, like
westerns.
Yeah, I think he was in westerns.
That seems to be fine. Oh, when the Ewoks are so they get all
a lot of westerns.
Yeah, she goes back after Dad passes, and the Ewoks. It's not even their village; it's like an encampment, because again, their village is supposed to be in the trees, and I don't think we see that in either one of these films. That's too expensive.
We see it in the first one with some reused footage.
Right, and now they're living on the ground, which it doesn't make any sense for them to be on the ground, because why would they have been in the trees?
Because there's lots of nasty monsters on Endor.
Yeah, exactly. But they're hanging out there. They're hanging out in the caravan, and they get snagged by these aliens who are gathering them up. I never even really figure out, and maybe I'm just forgetting why, like the motivation with they're all henchmen, as we see, because they go back to a castle, which I don't know why there's a castle. I don't know why there's such. When you see Endor in Return of the Jedi, it's just a forest, and in this, it's stepped-land and it's mountains and it's a castle. It's a moon. I thought it was supposed to be a small moon. And it's a system and big enough that when the Death Star explodes, a big chunk of it crashes on a different moon, which is what we see in The Rise of Skywalker. So the whole Endor thing really kind of confuses me.
There's also the sorcerer person who turns into a crow. I don't know if we ever heard her name. I called her Rita Repulsa because she reminds me of the chick from Power Rangers.
That's exactly who I was thinking of.
Yeah.
I think I just wrote Sorceress Lady or Dark Lady.
Her name is Chiral, I think.
Yeah. She kind of looks like Angelica Houston, but it's not Angelica Houston, like a knockoff. And yeah, she shapeshifts, and April had to point this out to me because I must have been looking at my notes. She wears like a Green Lantern ring that she can, but it's the stone in it. And we get into, again, the stone has really kind of weird properties because at the end, like it can do transformative stuff, but it can't do other magic because that's what that's what Mr. Ham, the main villain, is obsessed with. Is the magic.
Power of the stars.
He wants the power of the star that comes out of the and it's like one widget.
Power of the starship.
Yeah. Yeah. Not Jefferson Starship, which is what we saw in the holiday special. I know. Golf clap for that one.
The aliens, though, remind me of the facial sculpt reminds me of Ceres from Galaxy Quest.
Right.
So obviously these are not lizard creatures because that's what those are. These guys are gray instead of green.
Right.
But they kind of have the same sort of like monstery, big cheekbones, giant bony eyebrows.
Right. And I don't
teeth.
Yeah, I don't know why they're there or where they're trying to go or what they're trying to do.
Where they came from.
They want the power.
They have blasters.
Where did they come from? Who knows?
Yeah. Like I said, we find out that Wilford Brimley's character is trying to get out of there, and he's been there for this very long time. He and his seemed like he'd been there since he was like a rowdy teenager because he and his buddy Cirque or Serac or Slunk or something starts with an S,
like Selleck, which made me think of Tom Selleck every time. Yeah. It's like I know that's not who it is, but
funny Tom Selleck fact. Thanks for the sidebar. I'm obsessed with geography, so I was looking at something like found an address in the city of Detroit. I dropped it. April thinks this is funny. I dropped a pin and was looking at this address, and just further down from it was a dot that said Tom Selleck's childhood home. It was very close to where I grew up in Detroit, which is in my dad, which I just thought was absolutely hilarious because I always knew he was a Detroit guy because in Magnum PI he wore a Detroit Tigers hat. Okay, I promised myself that I would stay away from tangents, and I'm going to go back. So, April, what's happening in the movie now? So they're getting hauled away, and so So what happens when they're all in the caravan getting hauled away? The caravan of crap.
The rib carriage.
Sorry, I'm trying to figure out where that is because I had lots of notes that were
okay. Well, just jump in wherever because it's kind of a jumble. We're all over the place. I know it.
Yes. So, I don't know. Where are we? They take the Ewoks, right? So that's what they did, and then Cinderella's still at the cottage, right?
Right.
And let's see. Rita, I'll call her. I don't remember her name. Sorry. She finds Sindel and she tries to she talks to her about the secrets of the power cell and that that it's magic. They want the power of the stars and one of the alien creatures says, find me that child. And they're trying to find her. And
Mr. Ham. Yeah.
Eventually, Sindel is back with Grumpy and she ends up singing a song that her mom used to sing to her. And later...
It lasted for one verse, thank God.
Yes. And later we hear that song being sung and her name being called, and it's it's Rita again trying to call her in, but she's blonde and beautiful and has a unicorn or something.
And has a unicorn, which I thought was particularly notable. Yeah. You're right. And so then obviously she gets nabbed. And I wrote, okay, well, this is the point. And I kept looking at the time. This is like 90 minutes. And I kept looking at the time and I'm saying, okay, well, we're probably halfway through and now she's going to get kidnapped. And the entirety of the rest of the movie is going to be kind of freeing her, right? So
kind of.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah. So she gets nabbed. I'm trying to figure out. So Diabetes, Wilford Brimley, has this like shitty hut that he lives in, but he also has this nice ship. Does he not live in the ship like to not run the power down, or he likes the rust? Like he's got so used to the rustic life, he likes. Like,
I guess he just likes the rustic life because the ship seems to be fine, other than it's covered in vines.
Right.
The inside, the inside is messy, but we know that he lives in disaster zone.
He is messy, yeah.
Right.
So.
Well, he's an old bachelor, but he lives in this hut. Did you notice that one of the windows in the hut, he took sticks and made it into a Star Wars window with the little like Millennium Falcon like circle and the spokes going out?
I don't think I noticed.
I did not notice that.
I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, that's the he says, oh, my friend, he said, well, yeah, I came here with Tom Selleck, his buddy, and he wandered off to find another power crystal, and you're like, oh gosh, I wonder what happened to him. And exactly what I expected. Yeah. I figured he got 8, but really no, he ends up in a dungeon, unfortunately.
Ends up being an Indiana Jones cautionary tale.
Exactly. Or the weird skeletons in the cat's paw from that episode, the Halloween episode of Star Trek. Yeah.
Or a little bit more dressed up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was I wrote the science high school science class skeleton.
Yes,
that's plastic. The unicorn. I wrote about that. So it turns into a quest. So it's Wicket and Diabetes, and they somehow managed to track and Teak. Yeah. I keep forgetting about Teak. Following a path that they go through Stonehenge. I noticed at one point. Like I said, the biome that is this planet that is it's the forest moon of Endor. But that's just a part of it, and they can get out of the forest and be in other locations in the snap of a finger. So everything's really jammed together because they kind of go through Stonehenge and it looks like Scotland, and then they come up on a castle, which. Why is there a castle there? Who built the castle? Did this guy build the castle? Well, if he's got all this power, why is he still there? And what does he want to do? So they have to get into the castle, but the castle has a moat. Classic.
And some sort of evil monster thing.
Yeah, Wicket's like, I'm just going to jump in it, and Diabetes is like, no, and he jams a stick in, and I couldn't figure out if at first it was going to be acid or if it was going to be a creature, like you said, but it's some kind of piranha-like whatever, and then. Wilford Brimley's plan is great. So he has a grapple gun, which is obviously standard fare. He shoots it, and he doesn't say it the first time, but in the second time he uses it, he uses the Lego Batman line, and he goes, first try, getting it over. But his plan is he shoots it, and then doesn't Teak run up the rope and then throw the other end back, and then he's going to swing across.
He uses it as like a pulley system to get Wicket up.
Right.
Pick it up. Because he ties it really fast, so he doesn't need all the support that Wicket, who is not as fast, would need.
Right.
And then Wicket ties it to the foot of one of the guards and chucks him and uses him as a counterweight.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
And that guy falls. Yeah, that guy falls into the water, but they spare us. See him getting chewed up, which is just like
that happens again later. 3 other guys get pitched in the piranha water.
I said, one of the underlings falls into the piranha moat, but we're spared the death bubbles. I thought, that's weak. So they're in the castle, and then they pull up one of the most classic tropes of all time, the 3 kids in a trench coat, because they get dressed.
And for some reason, Wicket is on top, and they stumble around, of course, because why wouldn't he just hide them? I don't understand why they...
Well, it's not like he could be on the bottom. I mean, Wilford Brimley has to
But he could carry Wicket. I mean, he doesn't need... But yeah, especially since the Ewoks are the chattel that are down in the catacombs, which you see later, which are they a source of food? I mean, why do they have the Ewoks? Am I missing something here?
They don't really tell you.
Yeah.
They're just evil, and so they're capturing them and putting them into prison because that's what bad guys do.
Right. Yes. No motivation.
You're a good person. You go in jail. Why? I don't know.
So Teak is trying. So there's 2 of the underlings playing poker or something. I don't know. How would you equate
the classic tropiest of tropes where the guards are playing poker and not paying attention so that you can nab the keys,
which are hanging off the dude's belt.
And then they shoot each other.
Right. I thought it was a long sequence, but I did kind of like how Teak took one of the cards. The cards are like metal or something, like they're playing with like metal card. And he snuck it in the one guy's sleeve. So when the guy's moving his arms around, it falls out. And then you're right. Then they do the shootout and they kill each other. Yeah. I did write Sindel doesn't really understand the whole quiet rescue thing because Teak's sneaking up and she goes, Teak! And he's probably like, bitch, shut up.
Yeah. I swear, I realized they were speaking an alien language, but I swear they were cursing in English. I swear you could hear curses.
There was a couple times with the Ewoks too, where you're just like, is that the F-bomb that just got dropped?
Yes, I thought that too. I also thought it was interesting in the castle when Wicket is talking to his friends who are Ewoks. He was speaking English. Like, wouldn't he speak
Ewokese? Yeah. Well, and especially since they don't speak English, or they don't. Maybe they understand it, but don't speak it.
To speak it, yeah.
Yeah, like the stereotype of the old Korean ladies in the nail parlor. You know. No, I'm serious, right? That's a trope. Like they did that in an episode of Seinfeld. I remember there was Elaine and.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So inadvisably, the Ewoks end up with guns. Which you probably really don't. It's like giving guns to the gremlins and Gremlins. You know what I mean? It's just very bad idea, right?
Also know how to use them very well, which was surprising.
Yeah. Also surprising, yes.
But yeah, two of them get guns that jam like again and again. Big shootout. Yeah, like I said earlier on, I missed the whole powering thing because Mr. Ham comes after they escape, which is you figure is coming. Mr. Ham comes in and he's like, blah, blah, because they leave her there, even though she's trying to be, she says to, Rita Repulsa says to Wicket, hey, let me out. You got the keys, blah, blah. And Sindel walks over and says, F no. And she throws the keys into the drain.
She's evil. Leave her here.
Yeah, and then they break out.
And she ends up turning into a crow, and the other dude takes her ring so that she can't transform again.
And then she flies off, and there is no conclusion to that story.
No.
Except for you see her, I feel like you see her in the sky.
Well, I think she does end up taking the ring at the end.
You don't see it, but the assumption is that
that's right. Well, we'll not jump that far. But yeah. I wrote, so one thing, and I'll talk about this in the notes, is the two enduring characters that are introduced here are Teak, who we see again. I'll talk about that later. And the Blurgs, who we get in the Mandalorians, which I'll mention later. But they have the Blurgs, which essentially are horses with two legs, but they're big like creatures with mouths. But they also have horses. And did we have horses in the last one? I feel like we did.
Because they were pulling the caravan.
Why did they have both? And where did they come from? There's no...
I don't think Blurgs are native to this planet. Which again throws even more question as to where these dudes came from, because they're bringing their own mounts, they're bringing their own weapons, they're building a castle. Like, why are you on the moon of Endor?
Right. And the moon event, the forest moon of Endor, that is not the forested part. And the Blurgs are for export because they end up on the planet in the first episode of The Mandalorian with Nick Nolte as an Ugnaught. He's got Blurgs. But he also talks about the fact that Blurgs are legendary in Mandalorian culture, I think. Isn't that what he talks about in that first episode? He says, well, you're
in Mandalorian culture, but Mandalorians are good at taming livestock and riding beasts.
There you go. So yeah, it's really, but yeah, I wrote so they're running on the plains, looking at mountains, and then all of a sudden they're back in the woods. I'm like, did they take like a left off camera and it was like, well, here's the woods. It's just there's no continuity with how they're going. But we go through a whole sequence of wacky Ewok booby traps, just like from Return of the Jedi. And April, what did you notice that was the one thing that you said? Why did they have that during that sequence?
Well. Grumpy, diabetes, mentions that he has a catapult. But my problem with the catapult was that it was Ewok size. Like, wouldn't he have a catapult that was his size if he built it?
I mean, maybe that was all the material he had. He's like, oh, this is about 60% of the size I need. Maybe 50, maybe 40. Yeah, because Ewoks are really small.
But yes, they are familiar with catapults, so
yeah. Well, there was a catalog. Isn't that the one of the Ewok playsets I found for you and we have somewhere in this house is an Ewok? Is it a trebuchet or is it Is it? It's a catapult. It is a catapult.
It's a catapult.
It would.
Yeah.
Okay. Trebuchets take a lot more to do, so I would imagine it's catapult.
Right. And speaking of the speed by which they get all of this set up while they're being chased is astonishing. Because when did they stop and set any of this up? Because they had all just escaped. So it's not like it's not like it was a. Yeah.
He put all that around his ship so that
they did say that he had booby traps because we see Wicket get caught in one when they find the ship
twice. He gets caught in them twice. Wicket is incapable of the ankle snare, incapable of kind of learning.
Wicket enjoys getting snagged in traps, I guess, or just is oblivious.
It's a weird fetish. I don't know. I did appreciate that the inside of Diabetes' ship was really crappy. It really reminded me of the Millennium Falcon. So maybe it was also a Carillion freighter, just one we hadn't seen before. So the Teak at one point, one thing I didn't touch on is I love how easy it is to get a fire started with some rocks, 3 twigs, and they carry like a little bow, like like in Boy Scouts and stuff. Or but when they start a fire, it's massive. They're like boom, which Teak does.
Really dry kindling.
Really, yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, on the arid moon of Endor, I mean, everything is lush. You figured it rains all the time, right? It's a rainforest.
But
or not
all
quite.
The kindling is dry. Somehow it just
on that part of the planet, only there. But he starts a fire at the feet of the blurgs who are not. There's a guy watching them who doesn't see him, but they're also not tied up to anything, so they run off in this really cute sequence. They're like, "Brr," and the guy's chasing him. No, come back. I did. Yeah, I didn't get it.
Not a moment we hear an alien curse word.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Yeah. So Wicket ends up saving because there's a big showdown between Diabetes and Mr. Hom. They're sword fight. No, he's not. Mr. Hom has a sword.
Yeah.
Wilford Brimley has nothing. He's just
has a stick. Yeah.
He has a staff with an owl head.
Yes.
Oh man. Okay. Well, he's shucking and jiving out of the way. He's trying to moving all over the place. And then, Mr. Hom's finally got him dead to rights, and Wicket does what he manages not to accomplish in Return of the Jedi with his was it with his slingshot or was it with the bolo? I can't remember. It was
it was a bola in both.
It was okay. So he throws the bolo, and the red lantern is in a necklace around Mr. Hom's neck, and when he hits it, it melts. He bursts into sparkles, and it basically melts. It basically like Raiders of the Lost Arks him, and he's like, he's like all like melted.
Turns into stone.
Yeah. But he's also melted because he's like he didn't turn to stone like Medusa.
Yeah.
And but he just he's like so that was kind of horrific. But then the crow lady comes back, right? I'm drawing a blank.
She watches this happen and then flies off.
So one assumes that she stole the ring.
Yeah, I mean the ring is in his fist, so it would take a while to get out.
Maybe.
But that was probably the plot point for the never made third film,
wrapping up the trilogy. Oh my god! So Diabetes now has the power core that they got back from the other ship that Sindel's family got killed over, or dad got killed over. And so he obviously puts it back in the ship. Where's he going to go? Like, I'm trying to remember, were these films prequels to the OT or were they sequels to the OT? I feel like
allegedly someone figured out the timeline and this takes place shortly before Return of the Jedi.
So this is during so he's going to go because we don't know where he came from.
So he's going to take off of the planet. He's going to find a metal spherical structure that is not completely done and get blasted by a Star Destroyer in 6.8 seconds flat after leaving the atmosphere.
Right. And as an added bonus, he's taken Sindel with him because she's an orphan. And where are they going and why? And is he just going to be like, he's going to fly off and be like the first exit? He's going to be like, oh, look, an orphanage. Boop. And then he's going to be on his way to
take her to school like she didn't want to go in the first place. But
boarding school?
Yeah.
Is it some kind of boarding school?
But
drop her off.
The thing that also makes the timeline a little weird is that if Wicket can speak English now, why doesn't he speak English in Return of the Jedi? So I tend to think that this is after
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But someone did some timeline-y thing and was like, "Oh, it's before Return of the Jedi." I was like, "I don't think so."
This would be a great one, listener, if you would like to look into this and send us a note.
One of the bad guys was wearing a officer's command helmet from the Empire. So,
oh, really? Okay,
like an officer helmet or one of the AT-ST pilot helmets. So it was wrapped in fabric, but I saw him walk past. I was like, I know what that helmet is because I like helmets.
Roll it right. So. Anyway, secretfriendsunite@gmail.com. Let us know or hit us up on any of the socials because I'd love some insider information that I don't want to spend the time looking up because we just want to let it go. But we would love it if somebody drops us a note. We would definitely read it on the show. There's a line about goodbye is not good, isn't it? It sounds like a pop song.
Well, it sounded like E.T. again to me.
Oh, you're right. Be good.
Wicket was very
yeah,
very
right.
Similar.
Yeah, they did it twice at the beginning when the family was supposed to leave, and then at the end when Sindel and Noah Diabetes actually leave the planet.
Diabetes. All right, so yes, he goes off to his home, and I said he's going to get there. He's going to find out it's been strip mined by the Empire. So it's not. Probably. It's kind of one of those happy endings that you make an assumption, but in my headcanon, I'm sure it's because there aren't a lot of happy endings in particularly that part of Star Wars. Certainly not for background. It wasn't a happy ending in Andor for anybody but Han, Luke, and Leia at the end of that. So, and that's the end.
Yeah, it just kind of ends.
Yeah,
there's not like a postscript of like, and Sindel went off to school and became a really cool person or joined the Rebel Alliance or something. It's just like, and she's gone. And
she's definitely not Force sensitive, and she did not have a singing career. Okay. Before we get to fun and trivia, let's handle some ratings. I gave them credit for getting rid of the family members up front because they're all pretty useless. Because they wanted to obviously make Sindel the focus of the movie so she could get kidnapped and have this like, oh, there's a creepy moment where she and Wicket are like, you're my best friend. And there's a meme out there where he's got like the really creepy, like his eyes are super creepy in this. And I don't know how much that changed between the last film or maybe Return of the Jedi. Like I know in the special edition, they made it so he could blink, right? Yeah. That really helped. So otherwise his eyes are just open.
Wildly, it's what helps you figure out where they use footage from Return of the Jedi. Because there's a moment where Wicket is using a horn and something else, and his eyes are the dark brown from Return of the Jedi. You're like, oh, look, we use some footage.
Maybe that happens when the Ewoks, when they blaze up. I don't know. Let's see. It's 420 on Endor. But yeah, like I said, they killing off the main characters immediately it's a weird choice, though I think it's a good one. And things just tilt down from there. It almost feels like they scraped the budget of whatever might have been left from the last one and just kind of jammed it in this one. Still made it 90 minutes, which is like wow. But it's cheap and it's bad. I mean, I know it's for kids, but the OT was for kids. But it appealed enough to adults that they were all global hits.
Yeah, I will say that the lighting was better in this one. Like
there was a lot of it.
It didn't inexplicably feel quite. The lighting made it not feel as much like a bad set. Like it did feel like a professionally made film this time. It was just really dumb.
Oh my god. Yes. You're right. I did write it. The OT, they had a message. It had a production value, which this to me, I maybe you're right about the sets, but other than that, it didn't have a story that wound in a direction that made any sense. Now, I will give the smallest of points for two creature designs that were good enough to survive, the Blurg and Teak, because we saw Teak in Skeleton Crew on the little pirate outpost, didn't we? I'm pretty sure that's what it says in the notes. And then the Blurg was the big in the first season of Mandalorian, as we were talking about. But this was like a 3 out of 10 for me, and I even feel like maybe that's going too high.
What was your rating for the holiday special?
I put that in the negatives.
Yeah.
Good. But I was going to say yes. This is definitely better than that.
Our guest Andy turned it around and kind of flipped the script and said, well, if I rated it on how much I enjoyed it, I would give it a big rating. I'm like, you know what? You're right. If you give it that standard, sure.
Can I sit and watch it? Sure. But
yeah. All right. April, what about you?
I would say 3 is probably good. I know that little girls were probably the people that they were aiming this movie for.
Right.
But it would have been dumb for me at the time. I don't
You
believe I watched it. I don't
you
believe
didn't see
I watched it.
No. Yeah. Your parents wouldn't have let it happen. And how else would you have known about it? Because if it was for girls,
Right.
but girls weren't marketed to exactly like, you boys were, so maybe your brother would have heard of it. But if he didn't, there would have been less of a chance for you to know about it.
Mm-hmm.
So, Peter, what about you? Was this your first time seeing this?
Yes, it was.
Okay.
Same with like the Caravan of Courage.
Caravan of
like
Courage,
I'd
right.
seen these around, and it was like, maybe I'll see them at some point, but I'm not hard pressed. So yeah, this was special. I would probably agree with like the 3.
Yeah.
It does like I said, like some of the lighting is good. The special effects are noticeably a bit better than the first version, particularly some of the blue screen when they're flying. Because in the first one that was really bad.
I didn't even mention my favorite bit in the cavern where there's like the claymation like baby dinosaur.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Thing. Yeah.
I think it's absolutely incredible that Wicket is able to MacGyver build a glider out of like 3 bones and
skin.
Nothing. Yeah, that was pretty cool. But yeah, that was, and again, it was another set piece because you see the dinosaur baby carry her off, and she's a little claymation figure kind of wiggling, and yeah, not bad for the time.
Yeah. So I thought that like it was an attempt at something kind of monstery. It felt like some of the sets were reused from something like like the throne room kind of felt like Labyrinth.
Right. Even though this was before that,
well
maybe
before,
Labyrinth,
so maybe Labyrinth stole the set from here. I don't know.
And and the castle itself looked like, this is stock footage because you see it from a distance. They obviously didn't build it to scale. They built like, all right,
it was a matte painting. So the special effects I thought were pretty good for what it is. The story is kind of it's your classic sort of kid movie story, kind of like with Caravan of Courage. It's just the execution is kind of meh. But it's just it's, I don't know, it's not as interesting in the fact that it doesn't really, because like the first one had like, hey, I'm saving my family, and this one was like,
hey, your family's dead.
Your family is all dead. Now what are you doing? I'm trying to survive. Okay, cool.
I'm being kidnapped.
It doesn't have the same sort of like fairy tale feeling as the first one, where there's kind of like there's kind of a moral to the story sort of deal. It doesn't really feel like that's here. So I think that's part of what makes this one feel like it's missing something. Is it's a kids movie without like a purpose.
Right.
So,
kids movie without a purpose. Yeah. Like I said, my biggest hang up was the fact that the villains didn't really have anything to accomplish by locking the Ewoks up, and they want the power core, but they don't know what it is, and what are they going to do with it?
Yeah.
They don't know.
The villains are just very badly defined. Like they're just like, they are storybook bad guys, the witch in the woods doing who knows and why. And it just kind of felt like that, but they didn't have like, they're trying to do something, or there wasn't like a Star Wars reason for them to be there. And that's what kind of made it, that's what in part make it strange.
Right.
So,
oh my gosh. All right. Rating? Did you give it a rating?
Yeah, I agreed with the 3.
All right, 3 is the 3 for 3. All right, some trivia. Rotten Tomatoes is 61% out of 31 critics' reviews, which is staggering to me. The quote is, despite some slow pacing and uneven performances, Ewoks Battle for Endor finds balance in the Force with the combination of imaginative visuals and charming, simplistic storytelling. That's a bunch of gibberish.
I mean, it does have simplistic storytelling.
It does.
It does have decent special effects. So, I mean, they're not wrong.
I mean, and further, at the 38th Primetime Emmy Awards, the film and the CBS documentary Dinosaur were both jury awarded for Emmys for outstanding visual effects. Wow. And the film also got 2 extra nominations for Outstanding Children's Program and Outstanding Sound Mixing for a miniseries or a special.
sound mixing was okay. I will give them the sound mixing was a bit better than the first one because you actually had blaster sounds that made sense going with the blasters they were using instead of, hey, I'm using a blaster. Why do I hear a TIE fighter?
Well, and that backs us up as well. Aidan Mason of Pop Culture Beast stated the film manages to improve on the original and felt much more like a Star Wars film, although he was still critical of the acting. That I think I can agree with. It did have a little bit more of a vibe, but I mean, you had even some real actors who couldn't really act their way out of a paper bag. Wilford Brimley trivia did not get along with the Wheats. He did not like to touch wheat. So his, this is great. His scenes were directed by production designer Joe Johnson, who is famous for directing The Rocketeer and Captain America: The First Avenger. Period piece.
Wow.
So this was obviously early in his career.
Early start. And he went on and made some things that were actually amazing after starting
Exactly. Peter, it's correct. At 70 minutes and 34 seconds of the film, Wicket's father, Deej, uses the Ewokese curse word, feech, which is another reference.
I wonder what that is.
Yeah, exactly. You'll love this. So in late 85, George Lucas told Starlog that further Ewok films were planned, and both Warwick Davis and Eric Walker believed a third film was in the works. Who was Eric Walker? Was it another one of the actors or producer? No, I'm not remembering. Lucas later recalled, we made two, we were going to make a third, but they became too expensive to make, which I'm like, how did you find that it was too expensive to make? Canonically, as we've already talked about, the Blurgs appear in the animated Clone Wars. They did? They were in the Clone Wars, the series, or I don't remember that at all.
This is the 2D animation.
Okay.
No, wait, no.
Okay.
2008.
No, this is 2008.
Oh, wait, yes. The Blurgs are on, why can't I think of the Twi'lek planet? Ryloth. They're on Ryloth.
Oh, I see. So they are all over the place. And then the Mandalorian.
Eric Walker is Mace, by the way.
Yes. Who got blown up.
Yeah. So why would he have cared if there was going to be a third movie?
But
nobody.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Yeah, there
he got
you
left
go.
behind.
Just,
so maybe,
it was just the little watch. You never know.
Nobody. The witch got away. You know, things could happen.
Yeah. Oh, we're writing it right now. It's totally incredible.
Boy. Someone do an AI version. It'll be cringe as hell.
Oh my God. If somebody's listening again, secretfriendsunite@gmail.com. Drop us a line. As I was saying, Teak did appear in an episode of the Disney Plus live action series Star Wars Skeleton Crew, which takes place during the time frame of The Mandalorian. And it says shortly after the events of Return of the Jedi, but it's not. It's 5 years.
Yeah.
And the series itself is something of a spiritual successor to both TV films, which is unfortunate to say, but it's kind of true.
It is in the sense that it's a kids program.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the starring kid actors, good kid actors in this case.
In this case.
Or at least kids who are directed well. Because I think that was one of the big problems with early child actors is like they just picked whoever. I remember watching a documentary on Phantom Menace, interestingly. Yeah. And they talked about that, where it was hard to get child actors who could act, but also it was hard to get child actors who you could direct. So part of it is just figuring out how to direct children. And also that kid wants to be directed. So
exactly.
So I don't know where the failure was here, but
but it was a failure. And as we were kind of going back for the timeline, an article in Star Wars Insider did have a timeline showing the Ewok films occurring a short time before Return of the Jedi. So
I still think it makes sense for them to be after.
Yeah,
I think so too. Because unless like Wicket turns around and walks into a tree branch and has amnesia.
Or he seems to get
it's
caught in a lot of traps, so maybe he gets another ankle thing and he gets doesn't die, but Gwen Stacy to the ground on his head twice.
Oh.
And so now he's okay and doesn't remember English anymore. I don't know.
Oh my God. It's got to be something like that.
I have a piece of trivia. I don't know if you guys talked about it.
Please.
That the Yub Nub, the Forgotten Ewok Adventures documentary that's going to come out next year.
Oh, boy.
What?
Yeah.
We're going to have to add that shit to the schedule, and you're coming back for it.
There's a Kickstarter, and he did an update in November, so it's still happening. People actually paid him for this.
not going to be us.
And no, I mean, it's already that picture itself is over.
Send us a link. I want to talk about this.
It says it will come out in November. His last update was November. It'll come out in 2026. His last update was in November.
Well, we're covering this without a doubt, the three of us. Absolutely. So it's a documentary about exactly what?
Behind the scenes of the two films. The making.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm on board. Yeah, you heard it here for. I was not aware of this at all, so you heard it here first. Yeah, it's totally awesome. Well, that kind of takes us through this. Again, this is our last show of 2025. The landscape definitely changed. With Mark kind of moving on to other projects and Peter stepping in as a full partner. And 2026 is going to be a great year for Star Wars because we have our first theatrical film in 7 years with The Mandalorian and Grogu or Groglet if you prefer, which I kind of do because I think it rolls off the tongue a little bit easier. So we're very excited about that. And we're going to be continuing to talk other facets of Star Wars between then and now. So we're going to be digging into some comic book adaptations of some EU stuff, including Heir to the Empire, which will be our next episode. And we're very excited and we're glad you're hanging in here with us. So audience, we appreciate you. But yeah, that's the show. Peter, where do people find you out there?
Well, you can find me around the interwebs at Petrus Aquinas on most social platforms. I am not terribly active, but if you poke at me, I might say something. Other than that, you can find me over on ELH's Twitch and YouTube channel where we play role-playing games. And you can find me behind the scenes on Starship Excelsior.
Excellent. April, what about you, dear?
At the April Carden on Instagram.
Easy. And you can find me on just about all of the socials, but I stay away from X. I am at the C3, TheCeeThree. I also run the Secret Friends Unite social handles at just about everything. And also over on TikTok and YouTube, I do my little kitchen chat shorts. We're in 3 minutes or less. I talk about something I'm enjoying. Peter promised us one talking about Five Nights at Freddy's 2, and I'm still waiting on it.
Christmas has been crazy.
Yeah, Peter's going to get into the mix. But yeah, join us over on TikTok and certainly subscribe to us on YouTube. YouTube is also where you can get audio of all of our programs, but you also get the video of the great creator interviews that we do. We've got new and exciting ones coming up in 2026, so we'd love to have you on board there with that. But with that, we're going to bid adieu to 2025 and tell you how much we appreciate you having along for the ride. As always, sharing is caring. And keep on trucking.
May the force be with you.
This podcast is part of the Secret Friends Unite podcasting network, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and podcast services around the galaxy, as well as video on our YouTube channel. You can support Secret Friends Unite by becoming a Patreon member, get bonus programs and more over at patreon.com/secretfriendsunite. Join our Discord community for even more discussions on all things geek. For all the latest updates on Secret Friends Unite, make sure to follow us on Threads at secret.friends.unite and visit secretfriendsunite.com. Find our merchandise at TeePublic and Redbubble. Thanks for listening, and may the Force live long and prosper.
Hey, Secret Friends Nation, thanks for sticking around after the credits, or if you're watching us on YouTube, thanks for tuning in. I am joined by a friend of the show, super great guy who has been on with us many, many times before. This is actor and, dare I say, philanthropist, Mr. John Billingsley, who was the wonderful Dr. Phlox on Star Trek Enterprise, as well as a number of other things. John, it is always awesome to see you. How are you?
I'm wonderful. I think you have to be able to write checks with more zeros than I'm comfortable writing to actually be a philanthropist. Do-gooder, I'll take that. How about that?
Do-gooder. Oh boy, it sounds like it should be on the old Batman show. Oh, do-gooder fighting the Joker.
Yeah.
Well, John, I wanted to slide you in here because, we got some crazy stuff going on in the country these days. We're just getting off a government shutdown where SNAP benefits were pinched. We're also getting into the holiday season, Thanksgiving and Christmas in this case, where things can traditionally get tight for a lot of people. So I wanted to have you on to talk a little bit about the great work that you do with the Hollywood Food Coalition out there in Greater Los Angeles and how people can help.
Terrific. Well, I'll tell you a bit about the Hollywood Food Coalition, and this will be bifurcated because I've always been a great believer that while I work for and represent a charity that I have great faith in and believe does wonderful things. It's just as important, maybe even more important, to think about if you have the impulse to give to us, but you think, maybe I should look closer to home. Fine, do that. I will say that hunger and need and want in this country is sadly only getting worse. 1 in 5 kids in America is food insecure. Some 40% of Americans, if they were hit with an unexpected $400 to $500 bill, their roof caves in, their car is repossessed, wouldn't have the money in the bank account to pay it. There are a limited number of soup kitchens and food rescue organizations in the country. We do something that is very dear to my heart at the Hollywood Food Coalition. We serve a hot meal to all comers 7 nights a week, no questions asked, always providing choice, always providing dignity of service. And we also offer an array of other services to people who come through our doors. We try and, in essence, sort of provide a kind of a soup to nuts experience. If you want your bicycle tire repair, we've got medical vans. If you want some housing assistance, if you want some kind of referrals to other social service agencies, we very much believe in coalition building through the medium of food. And additionally, we rescue somewhere around 2.5 to 3 million pounds of food a year to share with other not-for-profits, basically to augment and buttress their meal programs. So think about a battered women's shelter that does great work, but may not provide 3 squares a day. Right. We're trying to say, small not-for-profits doing great work, tell us what we can do to help make sure you're feeding the people who come to you for service as best you can. And additionally, every Sunday, we have a wonderful program that we have created with a lot of marvelous people in the community, families, church groups, and schools. We have dropped off at our premises, in essence, every Sunday, somewhere around 3,000 bag lunches. And we make sure those lunches get distributed through some of our community partners all over the city, primarily to people living in homeless encampments. Just a slice of what we do at the Hollywood Food Coalition.
That's fantastic. And so if people want to donate, if they're local and they want to get involved, or if they're not local like myself, I live on the other side of the country, how can they help? Where do they go? Where do they go online to provide assistance?
Easiest thing to do is to go to hofoco.org. Go to our website, and you can, if you live in Los Angeles and you'd be interested in getting involved, you can sign up to cook, you can sign up to serve, you can sign up to pull a shift in our warehouse space and help unload the food that arrives, sort it, cull it, store it, and get it out the door to some of the recipient organizations. And on Sunday, you can help our sandwich distribution program. And you can also donate there at our donation platform. But I also really want to encourage you to consider it, although I think, in a way, where you choose to give $1, it's not so much about the geography, because $1 you give in Portland or Seattle or Los Angeles is still helping people. Right. So if this is an organization, the mission appeals to you, you are helping some wonderful people in need. But if you feel you want to work locally, I would only say, look around and see what's in your neighborhood, what's in your city, what's in your community, an organization that is working on the ground with people in need. And that could be folks who are experiencing hunger. It could be folks who need legal assistance these days. That's obviously something that's pretty important. It could be teaching a kid to read. There's a lot of ways you can give back to your community. This happens to be mine. I'm very passionate about it. But in the holiday season, it's mostly about rolling up your sleeves.
Right. That's fantastic. And as I said, I promised a quick message. So this has been fantastic, Con. It's great to see you. Hofoco.org. That's HOFO. Oh, I just lost it.
You got it. HOFOCO, Hollywood Food Coalition. Hofoco. And it's
ho. Oh. All right, John, I will see you in the near future. Happy holidays to all, and thanks for spending this extra time listening.
Thank you.
We'll see you soon.
So much. Appreciate it.